very good morning. You're watching the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television. My name is Aishwarya Kapoor and here are this morning's headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold talks with Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. More than 24 agreements and MOUs expected to be signed. Prime Minister's office calls meeting with the realtors' body to review its affordable housing program. Terror attack in Sweden claims 4 lives, injures many. Truck rams into crowd, crashes into department store in Stockholm. US warns of more action against Syria. Assad says Friday's assault unjust. Russia says it violates international law. And Bopanna and Balaji look to take India to World Group playoffs at the Davis Cup to play doubles tie against Uzbekistan. Well, our top story this morning, after resolving complicated land boundary agreement, now India and Bangladesh are all set to enter a new phase of relationship. While Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is in India on a 4-day visit, she will hold a bilateral meeting with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi today, where the two sides will decide on the direction of the partnership between the two nations.
On a 4-day visit to India, Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina arrived in Delhi with a large business and official delegation. Breaking away from protocol, Prime Minister Narendra Modi received the visiting dignitary at the airport. Prime Minister Modi later tweeted, "Delighted to welcome Her Excellency Sheikh Hasina, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, on her state visit to India. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and I are determined to take the relationship between our nations to a new level." Sheikh Hasina will hold a summit-level meeting with Prime Minister Modi to strengthen mutual relations between the two neighbours today. Both leaders are also expected to review old agreements and decide roadmap for future cooperation. Ahead of this meeting, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj briefed Sheikh Hasina about the recent developments in India to maintain peace and tranquility in the neighbourhood.
We are also involved in various upgradation projects in Bangladesh, in which the expertise of Indian companies is being put to good use. All in all, we believe that this is a very, very special visit, and we expect that this will take our partnership to just that one level higher.
More than 24 agreements and MOUs are expected to be signed between the two countries in the presence of the two prime ministers. The agreements will be in the fields of defence, security, cybersecurity, trade, transit, science and technology, IT, shipping and others.
This agreement provides a framework for the kind of engagement that we hope to continue to have with Bangladesh going forward, and also provides for defence R&D, defence supply and so on and so forth. The second MOU is for more for the aspect of, again, making it possible for Bangladesh to source some of its defence-based equipment and supplies from India.
Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina will also take part in the ceremony to honour martyrs of the 1971 Bangladeshi Independence War. Sheikh Hasina's itinerary includes meeting President Pranab Mukherjee, Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari and other leaders. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee will also be present in Delhi on the occasion.
After the summit-level talks, India and Bangladesh will announce a new bus and a new rail service between the two countries. India will also launch a pipeline that will provide Bangladesh high-speed diesel. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha television with camera person Vijay Kumar in Delhi.
On to our other top story now, with the government's aim to achieve housing for all by 2022, the Prime Minister's office has called a meeting today to review its program. While the PMO has called a realtors' body, CREDAI and NATCO to understand the problems faced by developers in launching affordable housing projects. Well, CREDAI is likely to make a presentation on how to accelerate affordable housing projects in the country. The government also wants inputs from the realtors' body on how to enable home buyers to encash subsidy benefits under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Well, the centre had earlier said it was disappointed that not a single proposal had come from private builders for the affordable housing projects. Well, in a bid to boost the real estate sector, the centre had accorded infrastructure status to the affordable housing segment in this year's budget. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had announced interest subsidy of up to 4% on loans taken in the new year under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. And Israel has signed a nearly $2 billion deals with India to supply advanced missile defense system. Well, the deal is being described as the largest defense deal in Israel's history. Well, it is aimed to bolster bilateral military ties. Well, in a mega contract worth over $1.6 billion, state-owned Israel Aerospace Industries or IAI will provide advanced medium-range surface-to-surface missile systems to the Indian Army. The MRSAM, a land-based version of LRSAM, will have a strike range of up to 70 kilometers. Well, IAI said that it would also supply additional long-range air and missile defense system for the first locally produced Indian aircraft carrier. Well, the deal was approved by the Israeli cabinet in February, and it comes ahead of a possible visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Israel in July this year. Well, remember, India is Israel's largest buyer of military hardware, and the contract is worth $1.6 billion for IAI, with the rest going to another state-owned defense company, Rafael, that will be providing components for the system. Now, Israel has termed the deal historic and truly exceptional. And back home, the alleged lynching of a man by a cow vigilante mob in Rajasthan resonated for the second day in the upper house on Friday. Well, the opposition demanded an apology from Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs, Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi, for his statements on the incident. The government told the House that Home Minister Rajnath Singh will make a statement on the issue on Monday.
Opposition members in the upper house raised the incident of alleged cow vigilantism in Rajasthan's Alwar for the second day in a row during 0 hour. Leader of opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad demanded an apology from the MOS Parliamentary Affairs Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi for his statements on the incident. JDU's Sharad Yadav also condemned the attack.
थप्पड़ अगर एक दूसरे को कोई मारे तो उसकी रिमांड होती है 14 दिन के लिए, और ये कत्ल के लिए रिमांड 1 दिन की होती है, तो उसका मतलब शुरू से ही नियत है इस केस को खत्म करने की। तो मेरा एक तो सरकार ये बता दे, हमारे माननीय मंत्री ने सदन को कल गुमराह किया है और आपने कल डायरेक्शन दी थी, आपका बहुत हम धन्यवाद करते हैं कि माननीय गृह मंत्री जी यहां आके स्टेटमेंट दे दे।
जो मंत्री जी ने कल बयान दिया था वो ऐसा बयान है कि मैं खुद सुनकर के हैरान था। एक नंबर 2, उस सदन में होम मिनिस्टर बोलते हैं और पूरी तरह से कहते हैं कि संज्ञान में है, अलवर में जो हुआ उस पर पूरी तरह से ताकत और शक्ति के साथ कार्रवाई होगी।
Naqvi clarified that his statement was in the context of states like Gujarat and UP. He also asserted that such incidents should not be viewed through the prism of religion.
FIR लॉन्च करके 6 लोगों को के खिलाफ की गई है, कानूनी प्रावधानों के तहत कार्रवाई हो रही है, क्योंकि हमने कल भी कहा था ये एक संवेदनशील मुद्दा है और संवेदनशील मुद्दा है। राजस्थान की सरकार जो कानूनी प्रावधान है उसके तहत कड़े कदम और कड़े कानूनी प्रावधानों के तहत कार्रवाई कर रही है। इसलिए ऐसे संवेदनशील मुद्दे को हम सबको संवेदनशीलता के साथ डील करना चाहिए।
On April 1st, a mob allegedly attacked dairy farmer Pelu Khan in Alwar on suspicion of cattle smuggling, who later succumbed to his injuries. The Rajasthan police arrested 3 people in Alwar and announced a cash reward of 5,000 rupees each for providing information about the remaining 6 suspects who were identified. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And the Supreme Court has sought responses from 6 states, including Rajasthan, on a plea seeking a ban on cow vigilante groups. While referring to the recent incident in Alwar, where a man was allegedly killed by a mob of cow protection group, the lawyers appearing in the case claimed that the ground situation in these states was a matter of concern. Well, the plea alleged that atrocities against Dalits and minorities are on a rise in the name of protection of cows, and that the vigilantes needed to be punished under IPC provisions. Well, the apex court also issued notices to Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Gujarat, Jharkhand, Karnataka and Uttar Pradesh, asking them to file responses within 3 weeks. Well, the next hearing in the case is scheduled for 3rd of May. And staying with the Parliament, well, the government informed the upper house on Friday that all farmers, including sharecroppers and tenant farmers growing the notified crops in the notified areas, are eligible for coverage under the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Now, MOS Agriculture Parshottam Bhai Rupala said that sharecroppers can avail the benefits of the scheme after signing the MOU with the landlord farms.
Addressing the issue of agrarian distress for tenant farmers during questionnaire, the government told the upper house that the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana has made provisions to provide them cover.
प्रधान मंत्री फसल बीमा योजना में ये प्रावधान है, यदि वो किसान के साथ अपना MOU करके वो प्रीमियम भरेगा तो उसको भी प्रधानमंत्री फसल बीमा योजना का कवर दिया जाएगा। और पंजाब में जो कि लागू ही नहीं किया है, नई सरकार स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को इसको नोटिफिकेशन करके लागू करना होता है, वो करेंगे तो इसका बेनिफिट इनको भी मिलेगा।
Responding to another supplementary, Agriculture Minister Radha Mohan Singh hoped that farmers in Punjab can also avail the benefits of the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana if the state government notified it.
पंजाब के अंदर ये बीमा योजना आदि चलती रहती, उनका नुकसान का आंकड़ा आया होता तो हमने कितनी राशि दी इसका इसमें जिक्र होता।
Tenant farming covers more than 25% of agricultural activity in India. Tenant farmers assume an extraordinary amount of risk in return for extremely meager rewards and little access to government benefits. With tenant fees and debts mounting every year, hapless farmers are forced to commit suicide. Tenant farmers account for over 90% of suicides in the country. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
On to some other news now. Well, Air India has lifted its ban on Shiv Sena MP Ravindra Gaikwad. Well, the move comes after he expressed regret for assaulting one of its employees. Now, with this, his 14-day humiliating ordeal when other airlines also refused to let him in on board in solidarity with the national carrier comes to an end. Well, Shiv Sena members disrupted Lok Sabha proceedings on Friday. However, Gaikwad wrote to Union Civil Aviation Minister Ashok Gajapati Raju yesterday, expressing regret over the unfortunate incident. Well, the ministry is also learned to have asked private airlines to also revoke the ban. Now, 2 AI unions of cabin crew and pilots have opposed the move to lift the ban.
अच्छा, मिस्टर गायकवाड जी ने अपॉलजी टेंडर किया मिनिस्ट्री का और ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर ऑफ सिविल एविएशन का. So accordingly, we got the directive from the ministry to withdraw the guidelines is there.
And in Breakfast News, we'll take a very short break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
All large galaxies have a very massive black hole in the middle. It's the GMRT in India. It's near Pune, built entirely by Indians. It is the largest radio telescope in the world. To show the effects of these supermassive black holes in the middle of galaxies, massive galaxies.
Watch Eureka with Professor Somak Rai Chaudhary, Director at Ayuka Pune, only on Rajya Sabha Television.
Welcome back after the break. Well, today is the last day for the withdrawal of nominations for the upcoming MCD elections. Now, there are 1,723 candidates left in the fray after scrutiny of nominations. Well, nearly 40% of the total 4,598 nominations filed for the polls have been rejected during scrutiny on 5th of April. Well, the 272 wards of 3 municipal corporations are voting on 23rd of April. Meanwhile, eyeing voters from Bihar and Purvanchal, Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar will today campaign in the national capital, where JDU is contesting 113 seats, and the counting of votes will take place on 26th of April. Now, the municipal corporations are NDMC and SDMC with 104 seats each, while EDMC has got 64 seats. Now, BJP has been ruling the MCD since 2007, and the last polls were held in 2012. Meanwhile, the Election Commission has rejected allegations of tampering in electronic voting machines and VVPATs used during a demonstration in Bhir in Madhya Pradesh. Well, the inquiry by the Election Commission established that the accuracy of the functioning of the EVMs and VVPATs is beyond any doubt. Well, an inquiry team was constituted by the poll body to look into all the aspects of various allegations raised in the media and political parties. Well, the probe team rejected that at multiple times slips of lotus were printed while on pressing different buttons during the demonstration on 31st of March. Well, the commission also informed that the EVMs used in the demo in Bhir were not brought from Uttar Pradesh. However, the VVPAT used in the demonstration was brought from UP and it is not in violation of law. On to some other news now. Well, Army on Friday found bodies of 3 soldiers who were missing after multiple avalanches hit an army post in Jammu and Kashmir's Batalik sector on Thursday. Now, 5 soldiers were originally trapped under the snow, out of whom 2 of them were rescued alive. Well, the bodies were trapped under 15 feet of snow. The soldiers were deployed at the hills of Kargil. Well, as per reports, the soldiers have been identified as Havaldar Prabhu Kirke, Lance Naik Bihari Marandi and Sepoy Kuldeep Lakra. Now, all of them hail from Jharkhand. Now, Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti has expressed grief over the death of the 3 soldiers and has also conveyed her sympathies to the bereaved families. While Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister also expressed sympathies with the people who suffered losses to their properties, including damages to the houses because of the incessant rains during the last 3 days. But the Chief Minister said that the government fully stands with them during the difficult times. Meanwhile, J&K Governor N.N. Vora also expressed grief over the tragic death of soldiers. Vora spoke to Lieutenant General P.J.S. Pannu and conveyed his sympathies to the bereaved families and wished early recovery to the soldiers who were rescued from the avalanche-hit areas. And earlier on Thursday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also spoke to Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti and offered all possible support in dealing with the flood situation in the valley. And more updates from across the country in Nationwide. The Supreme Court on Friday ruled that Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar's decision to appoint election strategist Prashant Kishore as his advisor position with the rank of a cabinet minister is not wrong. Now, Kishore, who is a political strategist and advisor to the Bihar Chief Minister on policies and program implementation, is a public health expert by training and had formerly worked with the United Nations for 8 years. Automobile manufacturers conveyed to the Supreme Court on Friday the difficulty in starting the process of conversion of vehicles to BS4 emission norm from 2019 to meet the 1st of April 2020 deadline. Now, the manufacturers told the court that as per the report of the Environment Pollution Control Authority, there are technological issues in meeting with this deadline. A Delhi court is likely to take cognizance of the charge sheet filed against Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Veerbhadra Singh in a disproportionate assets case. Now, the matter was fixed for Friday as a scrutiny of documents could not be completed on Thursday. Remember, the CBI had booked the accused on charges of abetment to crime and forgery under the various sections of the Indian Penal Code as well as Prevention of Corruption Act. On to some international news now. Well, at least 4 people were killed and several were injured when a truck drove into a crowd on a shopping street and it crashed into a department store in central Stockholm on Friday. Well, Swedish police have arrested 1 man in connection with the attack and have not ruled out the possibility of involvement of other attackers as well. Well, police said that the security at Swedish borders have been tightened. Now, the incident took place only a few meters away from the Indian Embassy office. Well, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj has said that all Indian officials are safe. Well, Swedish Prime Minister Stefan Löfven called it a terror attack and said that values of democracy and freedom would not be undermined by hatred. Now, several attacks in which trucks or cars have driven into crowds have taken place in Europe this year as well as past year. Remember, a truck killed 86 people in Nice in France last July when it rammed into a crowd celebrating Bastille Day. In December, another truck plowed through a Christmas market in Berlin as well, killing 12 people.
My thoughts are first of all with the victims and their families. In this difficult moment, Swedish authorities, including police and hospitals, are doing everything they can to save lives and maintain our safety. Terrorists want us to be afraid, want us to change our behavior, want us to not live our lives normally. But that is what we're going to do. So terrorism can never defeat Sweden, never.
And a day after US missile launch on a Syrian air base in a rebel-held Idlib province, now Western allies have offered a strong backing, saying that the gas attack cannot go unpunished. However, the Syrian government and its ally Russia say that it violated international law, while US has, however, warned of more action. It is also now investigating if Russia was involved in the chemical attack that prompted those strikes.
Syrian military personnel inspecting the damage to the Shariat air base, which was bombed by the US Air Force after the alleged chemical weapon attack in Idlib province that killed at least 80 people and injured dozens more. US said the base was used to store chemical weapons. The US airstrikes are reported to have killed 6 civilians, but the US has denied it. While UN has appealed for restraint, the US warned it may take further action. The US has also started investigating whether Russia was involved in the chemical attack that prompted President Donald Trump to launch the first direct military assault against the Assad regime.
As I warned on Wednesday, when the international community consistently fails in its duty to act collectively, there are times when states are compelled to take their own action. The indiscriminate use of chemical weapons against innocent civilians is one of those times. The United States will not stand by when chemical weapons are used.
The Secretary General said he continues to follow the situation in Syria closely and with grave concern. Mindful of the risk of escalation, the Secretary General appealed for restraint to avoid any facts that could deepen the suffering of the Syrian people. The Secretary General calls on the parties to urgently renew their commitment to making progress in the Geneva talks.
World leaders as well as US senators themselves are sharply divided over the US missile bombardment. While many Western powers supported America's action, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad called it an unjust and unabashed assault. Russian President Vladimir Putin also denounced the strike as an act of aggression and said it violated international law. Moscow has also promised to strengthen its ally Syria's anti-aircraft defenses. It is also closing down a hotline with the US designed to avoid collisions between their air forces over Syria.
Нарушение международного права и акт агрессии. Решительно осуждаем нелегитимные действия американской стороны. Последствия для региональной и международной стабильности могут быть самыми серьезными.
The United Kingdom supports the US airstrike on the Al-Shairat airfield because war crimes have consequences. And the greatest war criminal of all, Bashar al-Assad, has now been put on notice.
You can debate the legality of these strikes. You know, I think they were justifiable, but they are on an uncertain legal foundation. There was no UN Security Council resolution, obviously. There was no direct defense of the United States or even of Americans, for that matter, that we could really invoke a traditional interpretation of a self-defense right under international law.
The US has led a coalition carrying out airstrikes against jihadist groups in Syria since 2014, but this is the first time it has targeted government forces, representing a substantial escalation of the military campaign in the region. The attack has also escalated tensions between the US and Russia that are supporting opposite sides in Syria. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And US President Donald Trump has concluded a two-day meeting in Florida with his Chinese counterpart to discuss their trade relationship with North Korea and Syria. Well, Donald Trump said that there was tremendous progress in relations. Donald Trump declared that his relationship with the Chinese President Xi Jinping was outstanding after holding talks on trade irritants and sharing concerns about North Korea's nuclear program in Florida. While Xi and Trump also agreed on a 100-day plan for trade talks to increase US exports to China and to reduce the US trade deficit. Well, the first meeting between the two presidents has pushed for cooperation on investment in infrastructure as well as energy. However, the urgent and common problem that the two leaders are facing is how to persuade nuclear-armed North Korea to halt missile test launches that have heightened tensions in South Korea and Japan. While during the two-day summit in Palm Beach in Florida, President Donald Trump also accepted his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping's invitation to visit China. On to some sports news now. Well, India's challenge at the Malaysian Open Super Series came to an end after Ajay Jairam lost to Korea's Son Wan-ho in the quarterfinals on Friday. Well, the 29-year-old unseeded Indian failed to produce the performance that he did against fourth-seeded Victor Axelsen in the previous round, as he went down in straight games 18-21, 14-21. Well, this was Jairam's fourth successive loss to Wan-ho. However, despite the loss, Jairam is expected to move up significantly in the international rankings from its current position of 20th. And from badminton to tennis, in Davis Cup, a doubles pair of Rohan Bopanna and Sriram Balaji will look to take India to World Group playoffs as they play the doubles tie against Uzbekistan in the Asia-Oceania Group today. On Friday, Ramkumar Ramanathan and Brajesh Gunneswaram handed India a 2-0 lead as they staved off a spirited challenge in their respective singles matches. In the first match, 267th ranked Ramanathan overcame Temur Ismailov 6-2, 5-7, 6-2, 7-5, while debutant Gunneswaran outwitted Sanjar Faziev 7-5, 3-6, 6-3, 6-4. Well, India needed just one more win of the next three matches against them to enter the Davis Cup World Group playoffs. And the 64th National Film Awards were announced in New Delhi on Friday. Well, Hindi film actor Akshay Kumar won his first national award for 2016 film Rustam, which was based on the Nanavati case, while Malayalam actress Surabhi Lakshmi won Best Actress for Meena Munge. Actress Sonam Kapoor also won Special Mention Award for her role in Nirja, while the movie itself won the Best Hindi Film Award. Well, Amitabh Bachchan's Pink was named the best film on social issues, and Rajesh Mapuskar won Best Director prize for Marathi film Ventilator, which has been produced by actress Priyanka Chopra. Well, actress Zara Wasim was named winner in Best Supporting Actress category for her portrayal of young Geeta Phogat in Amir Khan's Dangal, while Ajay Devgan's Shivai won the Best Special Effects. Many regional films have received accolades in the 64th National Film Awards. Dhanak was named the Best Children's Film, while a Telugu movie, Sathamamama Bhavati, was chosen as the popular film, while Nargis Dutt Award for the Best Feature Film on National Integration went to Assamese film Dikcho Banat Palaks. Marathi cinema was a big winner at the awards, with the Kasav winning the Best Award of the Best Feature Film. That's it in this edition of news. Thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead.